Okay, fourth video. I think it's fourth video. Next topic. Who do you visualize in your mind who should be able to own a gun, a firearm, whether it's just at home to protect themselves, to carry out and about in public? Who do you visualize owning a firearm or should be able to? Is it that red-blooded American? Is it that hard worker? Is it that guy who goes to church and is a family man or a working man or an honest man? Do you visualize somebody that is responsible, who's able to take a firearm and handle it, be responsible, locking it up, not playing around with it? Because in my mind, what I visualize as someone that should be able to own a firearm is somebody that does work, who is responsible, who pays her taxes, who's an honest person, as honest as you can be, because nobody's perfect, who doesn't have a criminal history, who's not a drug addict. And I'm not talking about people that do the local, you smoke a joint here and there. That's your life. But I'm talking about hardcore people that are in drugs, in and out of bad places, buying drugs, selling drugs, them passing out and not knowing what the hell's going on. Do you visualize people like that owning a firearm and then someone taking it and be like, hey, I don't know what happened to my gun? To me, that's not a responsible person. In all that I said, I don't picture somebody being a thug or having a criminal history or constantly making bad decisions and choices, not being responsible, someone you cannot rely on, who goes from job to job, lives on the street, somebody that isn't pro-America, pro-Second Amendment, someone who doesn't respect their neighbor. I don't picture those individuals as gun owners. So when we see stories on the news, in movies, or hear about incidents where individuals are caught in a situation and a gun comes to play, in my mind, I always want to see what the person looked like. When there's a shooting event, I want to see, like, who's the person? Was it a man or woman? More than likely, it's the guys that do that. Were they white, black, Hispanic, Asian? What were they? Were they young? Were they old? How did they get the firearm? All those questions come to play, because then I want to break down and analyze, well, if they were a foreigner, they weren't legally or shouldn't have been legally able to get that firearm. So how did they get it? If it's somebody that's underage, I'm thinking, okay, well, you're not even old enough to have the firearm, so how the hell did you get it? If it's a criminal, someone that looks like a thug with the mugshot, I'm questioning, you shouldn't even be touching a firearm. With your criminal history, you shouldn't even be near it. You shouldn't even be looking at a gun. You don't have that privilege or that right. That's just my opinion. Some of you may differ and say, well, I got in trouble and I straightened out my life. If you have, great. But I just don't visualize in my head in America that if you are on that list of things that I just said, that you should be able to have a firearm. You voided that right when you fucked up. And I'm sorry for my language, but that's a simpler way to put it. You messed up, you screwed up, you made bad choices, not once, not twice, but over and over and over, and you continue to, and you don't appear to be a law-abiding good citizen of this country. You should not own a firearm. I'm sorry, that is a privilege, a right that not everyone can have. Even though you're in this country and you're stepping on this soil, doesn't grant you the rights of, hey, I'm going to go down to Academy or wherever and I'm going to go buy me a firearm. You don't have that right. You haven't earned that right. You haven't displayed worthiness to own a firearm. What do you guys think? Coming up on the 5-minute marker, right out.